Hello everyone, it's Miss Catherine here. I want to talk to you about the assignments in NoRedInk.com, and I want to make sure that you fully understand the order in which to do the assignments. It doesn't really matter what we're studying. It can be any unit that I have created for you inside NoRedInk.com. The order in which you do the assignments is going to be the same for every single unit of study. So there's a progression that is logical, and I want you to be really clear about what that progression is so that it's no longer confusing to you when you open up NoRedInk.com which assignment you should be doing. Okay, there is another video for you on how to find the assignments that you're looking for. So make sure to watch that after you watch this one. Here's the order of assignments. First, you do a diagnostic. Second, you do a practice. And usually the practices are numbered, but the first one may not be numbered. So if it just says practice, assume that is the very first practice, or practice 1. Then you go to growth quiz 1. Then you go to the next practice in order and so forth. You just keep repeating practice and growth quiz until you have mastered the concepts, okay? Understanding the purpose of each of these phases will help you to figure out why you should be doing whichever assignment is up next. So a diagnostic, if you think about that word, you think about diagnosing, and when you go to the doctor, they can diagnose what kind of sickness you have or why not you're feeling well, right? So a diagnostic in academia means it's going to assess what you do have or what knowledge you have, right? It assesses what you know and what you can do already. So we always begin with a diagnostic because we don't want to take time teaching you things that you already know, okay? So when you do a diagnostic in NoRedInk.com, the platform NoRedInk.com figures out what you already know, and it doesn't inundate your practice with that information. It will just give you a couple of extra practice sentences with that content, but it's going to give you a lot more practice with the things you have not mastered yet. So it's really important you do the diagnostic first so that your time in NoRedInk.com is well spent. Okay. Diagnostics assess what you already know and can do. Practices give you the lessons to help you learn unfamiliar and new concepts. And it also provides practice sentences so that you can immediately apply the information you're learning in the lessons. That is a super big important key to learning. When you engage with the learning process, if you don't apply what you're learning right away in real sentences or in real context, then that learning isn't really going to stick. So the practice gives you lessons. Please remember what we practiced in class. When you go through these lessons in NoRedInk.com, you don't just read a lesson without doing anything. You read the lesson carefully. You think about what's going on in that lesson, and you write notes in your notebook. The act of writing, you know this, activates your brain to help the knowledge actually get processed through your thinking and through your brain cells so that it becomes knowledge you get to keep, okay? It actually facilitates learning. So you have to write notes when you're reading the lessons in the practice sessions of NoRedInk.com assignments. Your notes should definitely include some of the sample sentences that they show you in the lessons because the sample sentences demonstrate the concept in real world examples. You write the sample sentences, but then you also practice on your own, making your own sentences that show the concept you're learning in the lesson. Okay, that is you actively engaging in the process of learning something. If you just read what's on the screen and then jump to the practice sentences, you're not engaging enough of your brain to actually facilitate learning. Okay, when you finish a practice, you've done the lesson, you've written your notes, you close the lesson window, and you do the practice sentences that have been generated for you, then you will be demonstrating to the platform while you're practicing this, which bits of that content you're actually learning, the bits that are actually sticking in your brain, and which ones are not, okay? When you're done with a practice session, it doesn't have to be the same day, but you complete a practice session, the next step for you is to go to a growth quiz. A growth quiz assesses what you have learned from the practice, okay? And it shows you which topics you have mastered that you don't really need to practice within noredink.com anymore. You just need to transfer it to your writing. And it shows you which topics you still need to study some more. So when you finish your first growth quiz, if you have mastered everything and you have the green check inside the green circle for all of the contents or objectives within that one topic that we're studying in the unit, then you are done with that unit of study in noredink.com. If you don't have the little green checks inside the circles for every one of the topics, then you move on to the next practice. Okay, so let's say the first practice, you learned everything you needed to know, you do the growth quiz, you've mastered, you've got 4 or 5 of those little checks inside the circles. It says, yay, you've mastered this topic. Awesome, you're done. If you didn't master it all, you move on to the next practice. You get the next lesson. You go through the same process until a growth quiz shows that you have mastered all of the topics. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Repetition is key. It is really important to keep exposing yourself to something that isn't sticking the first time, and to think about it different ways and to practice it in different ways. And that's what the practice sessions do for you inside noredink.com. They keep presenting the information to you through different types of sentences. So you can complete the practice to growth quiz cycle as many times as you need to in order to learn and master the concepts in a unit of study. When you've mastered the stuff in the unit of study, I expect to see evidence of that in your writing. So we don't do noredink.com just because it's like within noredink.com, it's a cool thing to do. No, we do it because learning this stuff makes us stronger writers if we apply what we're learning in our writing. So every single time you are doing thoughtful writing, your sentence structure should be growing stronger. Your use of punctuation should be getting more and more accurate and effective because you're applying what you're learning in noredink.com to your writing. Okay, now that you understand why I make the assignments in the order I make them in, I hope that when you go to your homepage, you know exactly what to look for because you know what you have finished already or what you have not finished. Okay? If this was helpful for you, please let me know, because if it wasn't, then I need to figure out a different way to help you understand this stuff. Okay, I want to make sure that the time I spend working for you is effective. So if you tell me, oh my gosh, that was so helpful, I get it now, that would be great. If you say to me, I don't know, I still don't get it, then we still can work together and figure this out in a different way. Okay? Alrighty. I hope all is well. Happy learning, people. Bye.